What up, everybody? It's your man, MrMelvinnTV, coming back with another one. Hey, just want to ask the audience real quick, and my subscribers, if you had a decade you can go back to, which one would you pick? If you had a decade you can go back to, which one would you pick? I would pick, I'm caught between the 80s and the 90s. And the reason for the 80s is, you know, times were a lot simpler back then. This is when, you know, you grew up with your family. Your elders were still living. You guys still sat at the table and ate together, and if not, we had Sunday dinner still. We were latchkey kids for our Gen Xers, so most of the time our parents worked, so we let ourselves in and out the house. We had rules: don't let nobody in my house while I'm not home, and stuff like that. We played. We were actually kids. Not unlike today, you know, these kids be 10, 12 years old, going on 30. But the thing about it is, when we grew up in the 80s, we were actually kids. So when you encounter an 8-year-old or a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old even, that was a 12, 13-year-old. I mean, they didn't act like adults, unlike today. The 80s were like more simpler times. Even listening to the music, everyone in the 80s knew all the songs that came on the radio. And we really had no choice because there was no streaming, there was no internet yet. So we had to just listen to what was on the radio. So in the 80s, we knew all the songs. We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Just all the other songs, there's so many to freaking sit here and sing. I'm not going to try to sing them all. But the 80s were a simpler time. And it's for me personally, you know, my great-grandparents were still living. My grandparents on both mom and dad's side were still living, so it was just a good time. And the 80s were cool. This is back when the neighbors could spank you. Then your parents get home, you get another spanking. If you went to your grandparents or great-grandparents home on the weekend, they told what happened, you get another one. How the hell? But guess what? You didn't do it again, did you? No, you did not. Times were simpler, man. We as kids, we got on our bicycles and were just gone all day. Our parents didn't have to check on us. You know, the police wasn't pulling back up to our house with us saying, hey, your son or daughter did this, and we caught them doing that. We policed ourselves, you know, because we had that discipline, because parents back then were allowed to instill discipline into their children at a young age. So when you got up to be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, a lot of stuff you just wouldn't do because you didn't want to embarrass your parents. You know, growing up in the black neighborhood, in the black community, I always say, don't you embarrass me in front of these white folks. And they used to always say that. You know, that's just something they said. And we kind of, that went in our head and it just kind of stayed, you know. I would pick the 80s. I always said the 90s too, because I had so much fun in the 90s, man. Growing up in Seattle, Washington, pretty much, and all throughout the entire 90s, except for the early part of the 90s when I was in the band at Grambling State University. But after that, it was Seattle, man, for years. So if I had to pick one of the two, the decade I would want to go back to and grow up in, it'll be the 80s. Even though the 90s is very, very tempting, because we had a whole lot of fun in the 90s. And dating was fun in the 90s. Being out, and this one guys still danced. You know, this one women still got up and did their own hair and stuff like that. So the 90s were cool, man. Cross Colors, Kalkanai, Fubu, all these different clothing brands were out. And we just had a blast. The 90s were great, but like I said again, if I had to pick, I would pick the 80s. Which one would you pick? Let us know. All right, holla back. MrMelvinnTV, deuces.